Have you ever wondered what it would be like to record with one of the world's top orchestras? Well, that's exactly what I did. I hired one of the world's top string orchestras that's literally worked on music with Disney, Marvel, Universal, and more to record on a song that I was brought on to write and produce with an artist. This is the story how. But first, we gotta back up to where this all began. This is Quinn Thronis. She's a Christian Canadian artist that I've been producing for well over a year. We've released a bunch of music, landed some songs on Christian radio, and in July we began working on a 10-song record. Now, one of the songs called Work You've Begun was quite a bit different from all the other songs. Quinn specifically asked me if this song could just be piano and strings. For those of you that don't know me, one of my specializations is cinematic production, so this brought a big smile to my face. Initially, we didn't have plans to bring on a real orchestra, so I was going to produce it with really high-quality string libraries instead. So with that, it was time to begin. Right off the bat, Quinn had shared a rough demo with me that I used to build the layout of the song, and the first thing I did was work on creating the piano part. Once the piano was recorded, it was time to start building the string composition. Overall, this string arrangement was not super complex, but it did have some really beautiful soaring lines in the violin. But I gotta say, my favorite part was the bridge because it gave me all the opportunity to create some really sweeping strings, which is obviously what strings are great at. After I got the strings written and got things cleaned up, I sent off the first draft for Quinn to hear. And I gotta say, I love getting responses like this from the artists that I work with. Yes. A few days later, we had a video call to prep for the vocal sessions since she was flying out in a few days to spend a week in the studio with me to record all the vocals for the entire album. Obviously, most of these songs are gonna have a pretty similar approach. You know, a lot of them are going to start with the lead vocal, and then we're going to start building up harmonies and things like that. All right, so on Work You Begun, this one's going to be pretty straightforward since it's a ballad. We're just going to do lead vocals only. I don't really think that there's any need to do any other stuff. I feel like the piano and strings alone would be pretty sufficient. And once we got to this song, only a few days before Quinn was going to be here in person working on tracking vocals, the topic of a real orchestra came up. So I did want to shoot a crazy idea your way. And, you know, if you don't want to do this, that's totally fine. Obviously, right now we have the MIDI strings, but we have used some of the other live string players from the Musiversal session players that we've used on some of the other songs. They also have full orchestras you can work with. And so just thinking about this song and the idea of making this more impactful, we could look at actually bringing a real orchestra in on this project. And next thing you know, I'm looking into what it would take to hire a real orchestra to record this song. Now, this kind of raises some questions, right? Like, where does one hire an orchestra? Thankfully, I had already been using a platform called Musiversal for the past probably 10 months, and I had seen that they had full orchestras you can hire, which is why I felt like we could look into hiring one of these orchestras. The process was actually a lot more straightforward than I expected. I literally just Googled Musiversal Orchestra, which brought me right to the Hire an Orchestra page, which I figured is probably where I needed to go. That page had a big old request a quote button, and of course their credits of who they've worked with, like freaking Marvel and Disney and Universal, so that's pretty sick. So anyways, I went ahead and clicked on the request a quote button. It basically just asked me to fill out info about the project for them and say which orchestra I was looking to hire, which was the BSO, or the Budapest Symphony Orchestra, that I chose, and then I had to wait to hear back. Okay, so Musiversal did get back to me. If you're asking, do I wear the same pants every day? The answer is yes. All right, so Musiversal did get back to me and they asked for me to send them a score or a demo with the strings so they could give me a really accurate estimate on what it would actually cost. Now, I do not have a score of this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and send them the recording of what we have. They ended up getting back to me very quickly and told me it would be best to book a 20-minute session, which would cost a bit over $850 US. Of course, this is not cheap, but people, this is a literal top-notch orchestra we're talking about. And if you were to hire that same kind of orchestra in America, it would cost multiple times more. So I let Quinn know the budget, they gave me the green light, and from here, it's time to get cracking on making it so that the orchestra can actually record the song, which means it was time to actually start notating the music. At this point, I need to get started on the music notation. The notation process is definitely time-consuming and extremely detail-oriented. Musiversal has a notation standard document that they sent me, so I know exactly what they are expecting to receive. And this is also why it's absolutely necessary to notate in professional notation software. Yes, I'm talking to you who think that you can just print the Logic Pro score and call it a day. I've seen the comments. No, you can't do it that way. That'd be a really great way of embarrassing myself. But hey, you can do that if you'd like. Let me know how it goes. So you might be like, bro, where did you even learn how to do this? Believe it or not, I actually got my start in the music industry as a composer and arranger first, even before I started making a name for myself as a music producer. I've literally been doing this for over half of my life. My process was to have Logic and my notation software, Finale, both open so I can go back and forth to double check my work to make sure that there are no mistakes. And that right there is a very crucial piece of this. Mistakes in the score are a major no-no. I only have 20 minutes with the orchestra for this session, so if there are any notation errors, then that takes up time to fix during the session, and that is time we do not have. Okay, so we got the first entire draft of scoring this done. Look at that. Look at that. I gotta say, there's something incredibly satisfying about scoring music in Finale. It's gonna look absolutely beautiful when I'm finished with this. All right, so I'm a little bit mentally tapped out on this right now. I'm gonna give myself a breather and I will come back to it this afternoon. I've got about 15 other things I have to do, so I'll be back soon. All right, we are back. Been a few hours, got a bunch of other things done, and now I am going to start working on finessing this notation. So pretty much what I need to do is add all the expression details, all the articulation details. So, we're talking crescendos, decrescendos, dynamics, and I also see some bowing things I need to correct as well. It took like 30 minutes to go through, add all the articulations, crescendos, decrescendos, some of the other things like that. I'm gonna be done for now. Tomorrow, I'm gonna start working on formatting the parts, trying to get everything completely finished up. Nerve-wracking. So in a lot of ways, the stakes are quite high on something like this. So I went through numerous rounds of revisions and proofreading to make sure there were absolutely no errors. During the time that I was scoring these parts, I also got an email from Musiversal that the orchestra I originally booked was actually going to be unavailable for a session. So they bumped me up to work with the Czech National Symphony Orchestra, or the CSO, which is actually a more expensive orchestra to work with. But they honored our original price, which was great. A week before the session, I was required to submit all of my files, the score, the parts, and the stems, so the Musiversal team can review them, and they do their own round of proofreading to make sure that we're good to go. Okay, so everything has now been exported, everything is printed out, or PDFs are made. It is time to send this off, which is a little bit nerve-wracking. I hope I have everything set up right. Fingers crossed. Let's do it. All right, it has been done. I have sent everything. We are good to go. We're good to go. I'll see you in a week. Now I have to wait a week for the session, which is scheduled at 5 in the morning my time, since this is taking place 5,000 miles away in Prague. I'll be attending the session remotely via Zoom. Feeling a little tired. Get some lights on. Oh, okay. It's 4:50 in the morning. Been up since 4:35. I'm feeling nervous. I feel like this is kind of the moment, everything has been coming to. Part of me is like, what if I don't know what to say? What if I don't know what feedback to give? I'm excited, I'm nervous. I gotta hop on this now. Right away, I was having tech problems with the Zoom call, but thankfully I got it sorted out very quickly and we could get started. All right, there we go. Can you hear me? All right, there we go.
Hi Nathan, can see you now. Thanks so much for joining. Rita's just popped in.
Next, they got me patched in so I could hear the orchestra, and like I said, I was not able to see them during the session. It was audio only. Yep, I hear the strings. And man, they didn't even waste a second. They began recording almost as soon as I got my tech problems sorted out. I was honestly so nervous that I didn't even know if I should smile or not, but I couldn't help it once they got into that first chorus. Once they finished the first take, I gave them a few notes and we were officially off. Yeah, that was beautiful. Measure 71 through 80. If we could bring out the cello just a little bit more on like 72 and 74, so probably just rerun that section. They ended up doing 3 full takes, and I gave them notes in between every take, and then at the end we did a few punch-in moments to get a few sections more cleaned up. We literally ended the session with less than 30 seconds left on the 20-minute slot.
That's, yeah, 25 seconds left, so perfect. Well, thank you so much. Glad we got everything. Hope you're happy.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just finished. Not gonna lie, I was really nervous initially, and right away I honestly was kind of holding back some emotion because it was just like, holy crap, like this is real. That was awesome. On the one hand, I'm like, I was nervous to give notes because like these musicians are so good, but on the other hand, just trying to rely on like trusting my ears, you know, trusting that I know what I'm wanting. So if there was anything that felt a little off, just being comfortable to say, hey, can we do this again? Can we try this? Wow, I'm so thankful to have that opportunity. I cannot wait for Quinn to hear this. She's gonna be freaking out. So now we just wait to get the stems and everything back from them. That'll be exciting. Okay, so I got the email with the audio files. So I have to download all these audio files. Okay, so here's the email. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and download this. Shoot, how many files are there? 144 audio files. It's wild. All right, so I think I'm just gonna drag the desk out, which is kind of like a mix that they put together. I'm just gonna drag that into the session, and that's where we'll start. Okay, so I got this here. This is the desk out, and just check this out. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for Quinn to hear this. Okay, so I am finally ready to show this to Quinn. This is not mixed yet, it's not totally ready to go. I haven't gone through all the different mic positions, but it's done enough that I'm ready to show her, and I don't want to keep her waiting anymore. Now, for the sake of this video, so we can focus on the strings, I did take her vocals out of it, so we'll just be listening to the instrumental. So now it was finally time for Quinn to hear the final results. First of all, I was super nervous, and I was also like super tired because it was like 5 in the morning, you know? So I get on, and it was very intense. It was literally like, all right, you're here? Okay, cool. Are you ready? Yes. All right, we're starting. It was literally just like, we're going right now. And so it was a little bit intimidating. It was like, oh, okay, we're going like right now. But it was really cool. And then as soon as they started playing, I was like, oh, snap. Like this is happening right now. Anyway, yeah, I'll shut up. And I'm so excited for you to hear this. And let's do it.
Okay, that was insane. It sounds like a Disney Channel soundtrack or Disney soundtrack, but like 20 times better. Like it's like magical. It's amazing. I love it. Like,
yeah,
I love it. And it's probably gonna be my favorite song forever.